Hey guys, it's Asa with Pygmy Fresh Aquatics, and today I'm going to be going over the best fish you can put in a 10-gallon tank. Don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm going to be going over the best fish that you can put in a 10-gallon tank. A lot of them I've personally had, and have enjoyed, and haven't enjoyed. A lot of them are community fish, and I kind of will be going over like what you can put with them. First on my list would be neon tetras. They're schooling fish that look absolutely amazing under bright, vibrant light. They are personally one of my favorite species of fish to own. Although they don't have the biggest of personalities, when you add them into a group, you can kind of see a little bit more of their individual quirks. These fish enjoy water temperatures between 72 degrees to 76 degrees Fahrenheit, and a pH between 6 and 8. You can keep about 6 to 8 of them in a 10-gallon with hardly any issues. It is a little hard to sex them. I've personally never been able to tell the difference between my females and my males, but I do know that it is kind of hard to breed them, so you won't really run into any overpopulation in your tank. I've only seen my Tetras breed once, and they had, I think, maybe 2 babies. I only have 1 Tetra left. I have it put in a tank with some other fish. I forget what they're called. But I've only ever had those Tetras breed once, and they only had 1 baby. It's very unlikely they're going to breed. These fish are also very mellow and chill, and they're just about good enough to be put in a tank with some shrimp. The only issue with that is that sometimes they will eat shrimplets, but if you're trying to breed shrimp, you probably shouldn't be trying to put them in a tank with other fish anyway. Next on my list will be guppies. Guppies were actually my first fish that I had in the beginning of my fish hobby. I got them when I was 12 years old, and honestly, they're very, very, very good beginner fish. They survive in various conditions. If I'm being honest, I would go days of forgetting to feed them, not doing water changes for like a month or 2 at a time. Water parameters, I don't even want to know what they were. But they survived, and they bred like crazy. Like crazy. I probably had 100 fish in a 10-gallon tank, like just little babies swimming around at one point. They're like bunnies of the aquarium hobby. They breed like crazy. If you are getting them, you are going to want to only get 1 sex, just so that you don't run into an issue of them breeding, because if you get a male with a female, they're going to have babies. You're going to run into that. The way that you can sex them is that a male is typically going to have a longer and more vibrant tail, while a female is usually less colorful and has a shorter tail. These guys prefer temps between 72 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and a pH between 7.0 and 8.0. In a 10-gallon tank, you could easily get away with 4 to 7 females cohabitated together, or 6 to 10 males. They're also pretty good in a community tank. They get along fairly well with really any kind of fish. Although with males, they will be chasing females around. They won't really pay attention to any other fish in your tank. Next on my list are Endlers Livebearers. They are very, very, very similar to guppies. The only difference with them is that they're quite a bit smaller, with adults only reaching 1 to 1.5 inches in length. A group of 6 to 8 of these guys would work perfectly in a 10-gallon tank. My light turned off again. I really need to just get a new ring camera. Anyways, forget that. These guys are at their happiest in temperatures between 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and a pH between 6.5 to 8.5. The next fish on my list are white cloud mountain minnows. These fish are extremely underrated and can do great in both cold and warm water. Now, they are a little hard to find at times, but when you do find them, they are kind of cheap. Like at my local pet store, they don't have any, but I have heard that if you go to a store that does have them, they're probably going to be pretty cheap. These fish are very peaceful and very easy to care for, and they look absolutely amazing in a planted tank. These guys do great in groups. Usually try to aim for 6 or more in a 10-gallon. They're super active and are the most active when your tank is at cooler temperatures. So for these fish, you don't have to really invest in a heater. They prefer temps of 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit and a pH of 6.5 to 8.0. The next fish on my list are chili Rasboras. If you're into really tiny and colorful fish, this might be the fish for you. with adults only reaching about 0.75 inches. They're super peaceful, but they have to be kept in groups of 8 to 10 to be fully comfortable in their tank. They prefer temps of 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. They also prefer pretty acidic water, with it ranging between 6.0 to 7.0. Because of their tiny size and their overall peaceful nature, they are very, very well tank mates with shrimp. And a lot of the time, their mouths aren't even big enough to eat the shrimplets, so you don't have to worry about that. The next fish on my list are Pygmy Corydoras. They were one of the first fish that I got in my first planted tank, and I absolutely loved their character and personality. They are very social, and even in a 10-gallon, they should be kept in groups of at least 6 or more. It's very cool watching them play with each other, especially if you get like some kind of bubbler. It's very fun watching them just swim through the bubbles. Mine did it all the time. I currently don't have any, but I do plan on getting some in the future. They do need a soft substrate. You could get away with just sand or a bare bottom tank with nothing in it. They prefer temps of 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit and prefer a pH between 6.5 and 7.5. Next fish on my list are honey gouramis. I personally did own a honey gourami for a short period of time. I had to give mine away just because it was slightly aggressive towards my fish and it was leaving marks on them. It was very obvious it was hurting them. But that's kind of what they do in nature. They are very territorial. If you get a male, they are the ones that are territorial. Females are kind of less crazy about that, but they are going to be more of a centerpiece fish, and you're only going to want to be getting one of them per tank, as usually they will fight each other to the death. Sort of similar to bettas. If you do put them in a community tank, just make sure you have quite a bit of foliage so that your shrimp or other nanofish can feel safe and hide from the gourami, just in case it wants to kill them. Next on my list are celestial pearl Danios, also known as galaxy Rasboras. They are a very tiny fish, usually adults only reaching about 1 inch in length, and as in their name, they look like a galaxy. They have like kind of galaxy patterning on the side of them. Very cool looking. They do best in groups of 6 to 8 and prefer temperatures of 72 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit and with a pH of 6.5 to 7.5. They are very peaceful community fish and do very well with honey gouramis. The next fish on my list are bettas. I personally have never owned a betta, but I do know how to care for them. In fact, I do plan on getting one, so stay tuned for future content on those guys. They are unfortunately one of the most misunderstood fish in the entire aquarium hobby, because I guarantee if you've ever gone to a Petco or PetSmart or even some grocery stores, they have bettas for sale, and they always market them incorrectly. Most of the time, you're going to see them saying that it's okay to put them in a little glass bottle and that they'll survive perfectly fine. Don't do that. That's just mean. Don't do that. I could go on for a while about their care, but I do plan on making a separate video that I will link once I make it, going over their basic care. They are very colorful and have very interesting personalities. They don't like strong currents, and they enjoy very calm waters. From what I understand, I'm pretty sure that they came from somewhere in Asia on rice farms. And I'm pretty sure they would like defend them from like mosquitoes or something like that. They prefer temperatures between 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so just make sure you have that temp pretty high up. They prefer a pH of 6.5 to 7.5. They also don't take up that much space. From what I understand, the minimum gallons you should have them in would be a 5-gallon. But this is a 10-gallon tank video, so as you can probably assume, put them in 10-gallon. And for the last fish on my list, it's actually not a fish at all. It's actually a combo between putting shrimp and snails in a tank. They are both pretty low maintenance tank mates, with you only having to put a little bit of food in a few times a week. The snails keep the walls of the tank clean, while the shrimp clean up the crap that the snails leave. There are many species of snails to choose from, but my personal favorites to put with shrimp would be narite snails or mystery snails. In a combined tank, you would want to keep a temperature between 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, with a pH of about 7.0. That's all for today's video, guys. If you guys have any further questions or any video ideas, honestly, just feel free to comment down below. I'm more than interested to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications for future content.